So I went to this barbecue and I met the president of minor hockey, and I was like, this guy's, Mr. Delhay. He's the president of minor hockey. He's the president of Legion. He's a fire chief. He just won Citizen of the Year. Like, this guy needs a tiara and a sash. He's Mr. Delhay, And I thought everything was good. I thought that this guy was it. This guy's my ticket to pro hockey. Maybe this is the start. He wasn't, and I got completely blindsided. And this is where, we've laughed a little bit during this, and this is where we don't laugh a little bit because it's a really crappy part of my story, and I'm not ashamed to tell you this. 3 days after I met this man, he locked me in my apartment and he raped me. And so I was blindsided completely. No one had came to my high school and said 1 in 5 boys can be sexually abused by people that you know, and this guy was a complete stranger. So, yeah, didn't know what to do. I didn't know that calling the police, he had to go to the hospital. I didn't know he had to go through that whole procedure. I went to the police, I charged him. We went through, the protocol of how that works, and I didn't understand that at all. Here's this guy who's fought his whole life. I had 600 penalty minutes in junior hockey, and I couldn't fight this guy off, and so I felt like a really weak person. The next day, I started engaging in self-harm. No one taught me how to burn myself, or that's how I get rid of it. That's just how I did it. And I got into, I think I took a violent shove from drinking Irishly to drinking alcoholically, and really just to get some sleep. I didn't know how to sleep. Couldn't shut the shit off my brain. I just constantly thought about it, so I drank, and that didn't do enough for me. A year later, we were in court, and he was sentenced to 3 months house arrest, because that's our justice system. And so that was the day that I attempted suicide for the very first time, and no one said that this is how life's going to go for you. You're going to have a really good hockey career, and then you're going to become a street level user, and you're going to shove a 12-gauge shotgun in your mouth. And that was a big shift for me because I didn't have the tools to get through it. Right? My dad said, "We don't talk about this stuff. We shut this stuff down." It got bad. It got incredibly bad, and so we'll lighten up the mood here because we're getting a little bit heavy. So I'll tell you how I got into recovery. It got pretty bad. This drug addiction got pretty bad, and so I started, when you're using, you can't have a job, because there's just no time to work, right? You gotta use and drink all the time. So I started getting into identity theft and credit card fraud, and I was pretty good at it. So the judge said, at least. So I was in Guelph. I don't know why. It's funny that you're from Guelph, because you know exactly where this is. I went to the Royal Bank in Guelph, and I drove my own car there, which is stupid. But I was going to rob the bank, right? Like, all right, here we go. Like, here's some cash. Like, I need it because I'm fiending and I need to get high. So I looked in the back seat of my car, and my welding helmet was back there. I'm like, perfect. Bingo. Here we go. Put my welding helmet on, went into the bank, gave her a note. Got $8,000. Thank you. We'll see you later. It's not that easy, but if you have brass balls, it is that easy. And so I went to a famous gentleman's club in Guelph called the Manor, and I spent that $8,000 in a day. It was a good party. But this phone number kept calling me the next day. Private number. I'm like, nope, not happening. That ain't happening. Probably about 6 o'clock that night. Finally answered it because I thought maybe someone needs drugs, or I can get the drugs, or maybe this is someone through someone else. That's how the connection works. So I picked up the phone. This guy said, "Hey, it's Guelph. It's Greg, blah, 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 from Guelph City Police." And he said, "Are you a welder?" And in my sick head, I'm like, maybe this guy's seen some of my work. Like, yeah, I'm a welder. Sure, I'm a welder. You need some work done or what? And he goes, is your name on your welding helmet? Oh shit, eh? Like, they just robbed the bank and they knew exactly who it was. So I went to court, and I thank God this judge, he said, you know what, like, you're 100 pounds, you have no teeth in your face, you look like Skeletor, I can't sentence you to jail. She said, I'm going to sentence you to a treatment center in Aurelia. So I went and I spent 55 days in my very first treatment center in Aurelia. hated it, didn't think I was an addict, didn't think there was anything wrong. Day 56, I actually came back to London to a Slayer concert. I actually spent most of the time at Bud Garden's washroom and didn't see Slayer, which I deeply regret now because they're not touring anymore. I'm a big Slayer fan. Missed that opportunity, eh? But you should have seen what was going on in the washroom. Right? It went like that for a really long time. I ended up homeless, and I was living in the Oxbury Mall parking lot, which is a place here in London. And a guy came to me one day and he said, you know, Paulie, I know you're struggling. There's a place here called Turning Point. If you want to come in, I got you an intake. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm living in my car. It's pretty cheap rent. It's decent. It's airy. It's comfortable. I got all my stuff here. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. And I said, where's this place that you want me to go? He said, it's Mornington Ave, right across from Oxbury Mall. Not a far drive. So I went in to this guy. I was sick. And he says, how you doing, Paulie? And I said, oh, I'm doing great. And for the little ones, anyone little one? Here, put your earmuffs on for a sec. I said, I'm doing great. He said, you're living in your fucking car. Whoa, that's a little harsh. Pump the brakes. Like, I can't even lie through my tooth. Thanks a lot. And I said, you know, people are allowed to sleep in a bed with a pillow. I'm like, all right, man. Like, I'll come in for 2 weeks, or I'll come in for a little bit and play a little game. And this guy really took me under his wing, you know, like, and he really just treated me like a human being for the first time. A human being that's sick and not a weak person. You know, 2 weeks into that treatment center, I left and I went and got hammered drunk, and Laura, you were there, you know this. Yeah, I lost my pants at Dundas and Richmond. I don't know where they went. But I was hammered drunk, and this guy gave me a second shot. And I've never ever I've been able to repay that, because it was such a gift that guy did for me. He gave me new teeth. He said, like, through the Ministry of Health, we can give you some new teeth. Incredible opportunity. Through that, I was able to stay sober, which is, for this Irish guy, was a tough thing to do. I got an opportunity after that to go west to Calgary to coach a junior B hockey team, and I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I ever going to get back on the ice again? And this guy said, I'll meet you in a Walmart parking lot. Like, I just want your skill. I want your knowledge. That's it. I just want that. And so I met, and I got the job, and like this is the stuff that really gets like my heart pumping. We went on a record 27-4-4 with that team. We won a national championship that year. Just an incredible feeling. But if anyone's been around hockey or been around the rink, there's always a case of beer, right? So I thought maybe I can have 6 beers, you know, and I couldn't. And so I drank that day, and then drank every day for 15 months, and ended up very suicidal. About 6 years ago, here I am, really suicidal. I was in London again, and I was talking about Slayer. I ended up at a Honeymoon Suite concert. You know, I was drunk. That's and I partied that night, and I ended up blackout drunk, and I threw my best friend out a 3rd-story window. And I woke up the next day thinking, like, hey, fellas, how's things? And they're like, look at the window, man. I thought something's got to change. Something drastic's got to change here. And by the grace of God, by my higher power, I haven't felt the need or done anything to take a drink or mind-altering substance since. So I'm 6 years sober. It's the longest amount of sobriety. It's an incredible gift, and the thing that I could say and this is my message to you guys. If shit goes south, it's just about patience and consistent action. Someone said, pick your battles, pick less battles than that, And I don't have to show up to every fight that I'm invited to. If I'm passionate about something, and I'm passionate about addiction and mental health, I'm going to show up to that fight, and that's all this is patience and consistent action. And this is how I end all my talks. in Japan, there's a bamboo tree. You got to water and fertilize it every single day for 5 years. Every single day. If you miss a day, it dies. Every single day, you have to water and fertilize this bamboo nut. It's like this. For 5 years, it doesn't come out of the ground. You just have to water and fertilize it every day. In the 5th year, that bamboo tree grows 90 feet tall in 6 weeks. So how much did that tree grow? Did it just grow in 6 weeks? Or did it grow in 5 years and 6 weeks? Always water and fertilize your life, and the growth will come no matter what. Thank you so much for having me.